Since the last video, we've been working a lot on Windbound, and a lot has been added. Some super cool new areas have been made. We've had an overhaul on civilian and guard NPCs, a crime system, 2 new quest lines that both include unique boss fights, and that's just the surface of it. There is a lot more that's been added and improved behind the scenes, but with all that in mind, we asked you guys for some questions, and now I'm going to go through a few of those while showing you more of the game. Okay, so our first question is the game going to have classes, or will it be more skill tree based? Well, it's actually a bit of both, and I'm really going to break this down here. So I've made this flowchart to help visualize your character's build makeup and how you progress each part of it. So basically, at the start of the game, you'll choose your magic technique, your chronicle, and your race. Everyone starts with the innate skill tree, and you're free to pick up any weapon you like during your run. So basically, with your weapon and your magic technique, you're able to unlock a bunch of base skills. But these are separate from your weapon class and your magic class. These classes are more specialized. They branch out from what you've chosen and build on it, giving you a more defined playstyle as you progress. So, for example, if I pick sword, I'll have different weapon class choices than if I were to choose a dagger. Pretty simple stuff. The same applies with your magic. The way you're able to get these classes is basically once you hit a certain level, you're able to find out NPCs and do unique quest lines related to that quest, and then you'll be able to unlock it. Now, your chronicle is your character's archetype. You choose this whilst you're making your character. Not all of them are available to you as soon as you're starting, but there is still a pretty good selection as a new player. Your chronicle will grant you a unique skill tree to progress, as well as chronicle achievements, which upon completion will grant you freemium currency to spend in the game, as well as unlock Metaprog in relation to that chronicle. Both your chronicle and innate skill tree are able to be progressed, as long as you have the required start investments for each node. Finally, each race has a set of unique passives and an active, which currently is unlocked just by leveling your character. All of these things that I just mentioned are separate parts of your character's builds, so you can imagine that there is a lot of variety that goes into a build. So the next question is there going to be permanent progression like Echoes in Deep, or unlockable characters similar to Risk of Rain 2? Yeah, there is meta progression that is unlocked after you wipe, assuming you do certain things during your run. The main way we do it is through our chronicles. You know, these are essentially pre-written stories that you play through, and as you know, each one has its own skill tree, its own achievements, and it heavily influences your play style. Well, you can unlock new chronicles by completing specific quest lines, so in a way they kind of do act like unlockable characters. There is also some meta progression tied to the chronicles themselves, where upon completing their achievements it will unlock additional things tied to that chronicle. Outside of that, there's another system called memoirs. You unlock these by collecting pages through quests in certain areas. These pages you can read, and they include bits of lore if you're into that. But once you complete a full set, you unlock the gameplay bonuses. For example, you might be able to start in that memoir's specific location, get extra resources at the beginning of your run, and there might be some unique interactions in the world tied to that memoir. On to the next question. What were the status effects we saw in the last video? Can you elaborate on how they work? So there are a ton of status effects in Windbound, but for now the important ones are the 6 core status effects. Every weapon and magic class is built around one of these core status effects, and then on top of that they have their own class specific status effects that work alongside it. The core effects either buff you or weaken your enemies, and they play a huge part in combat. You're attacking and defending, but you're also trying to apply and manage these effects mid-fight, as they absolutely can be the determining factor in who comes out the winner. Essentially all your class abilities have different variations of the move if status conditions are met. Status effects are also needed to proc specific passives, and generally are at the center of Windbound's combat. The status effects are what allow you to utilize your kit to its full potential. Windbound takes place in Sky Islands, but is there something below or just void? Both. Next question. What races are there and how many do you plan to add? There's currently 9 playable races in the game. We probably will add more later down the line. The only thing is with that is each race has multiple unique passives, its own unique active skill, and they also need to fit into the lore in the world. So most likely we'll add more later down the line, but for right now there is 9 playable. Can you say the percentage of how much of the game is complete? We want to know if the game is near finish or not. Alright, so it's a bit hard to put a percentage on it, just because Windbound isn't really the kind of game where we hit a point and go, right, yeah, that's it, it's finished. There's a lot already in the game, realistically more than what you'd see from most of these CC games that release to the public. So the issue isn't really a lack of content, it's more about making sure each area actually feels worth playing through. Because Windbound is a big open world, we don't just want to fill it with the same stuff over and over. We're trying to make each region feel different and actually have some depth to it, which takes a bit more time. If this was a smaller, more contained game, it probably would be out already. But we're aiming for something bigger than that, and something we can keep building on for years after release. So yeah, it's hard to give a percentage, but we're on track with the milestones we've set out in our Discord. Will there be mounts? Potentially, and in a way there kind of already is. You've probably seen the ball riding in this video, but right now that's tied to a mini game where you can race your friends on boars, Mario Kart style, and you compete for leaderboard spots. Windbound's got quite a few things like that, just fun, kind of quirky, chaotic side stuff. A lot of them are mini games tied into unique quest lines. But as for mounts in the more traditional sense, we're not 100% sure yet. It's something we've thought about, but nothing's confirmed. That said, we've already got things like flying boats and gliders, so who knows? What makes Windbound different from other open world games? So, in terms of open world games on Roblox, we're really just trying to make something that's genuinely fun within the space. When we say Windbound is open world, what do we mean by that? Well, it's a big open world and you're free to play however you want. I feel like that's at the heart of an open world game. There's a lot of different ways you can play Windbound depending on what you enjoy. You know, you can treat it like a sandbox and just mess around, doing random stuff like racing your friends on the back of a pig. Or you can properly dive into the lore and the story. And if you're more into PvP, you can spend hours fighting and experimenting with different builds. So yeah, a big part of it is just freedom. You can kind of get lost in the world and play it how you want. But there's also a lot of replayability and a lot of smaller unique things in the game that I'm deliberately not showing yet. I want people to discover that stuff for themselves when they first play. Personally, I do believe that people who are quick to call Windbound a copy of other games, they'll probably be surprised when they finally play, because what we've shown so far is really just the surface. Now don't get me wrong, we've definitely taken inspiration from other things, but we're not building the game around any one blueprint. We're just doing our own thing. And also, having a tight in-house team helps with that as well, because everything that we do make is something that we've got together and thought of and all collaborated collectively as a group to make. It kind of makes everything that we do make have a reason, and it fits into the bigger picture of the game. So yeah, that's where things are at right now. You know, there's still a lot more work to do, a lot of things to add and improve, but it's really starting to come together in a way that we're happy with. I'll keep sharing updates as we go along. Make sure you're in the Discord server, but for now, that's Windbound. Thank you for watching.